Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. And today we're going to be discussing black and white horror movies. I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
And I'm Jonathan.
And which three movies did we discuss? Did we watch this week? Somebody remind me. I forgot.
So we actually got to see Creature of the Black Lagoon in theaters.
Oh, yeah,
which is
in
amazing.
theaters. That's right. We did do that.
That's like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity to go and watch an old film like that. And then we watched Nosferatu and then The Wolfman on DVD.
One of these movies was released. Nosferatu was released in the 1920s, like 22.
22.
Yeah.
The other two
very
were like
early.
55, 54, I think, were the other ones. Like Wolfman was 55, I want to say, and then Lagoon was 54.
Yeah, Nosferatu is definitely part of like the German Expressionist movement.
Yes.
Which is why it's so important to not only film but to horror films as well.
Also a silent film as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Also a silent film. Great soundtrack. I've heard that the a lot of the original sheet music for it was actually lost beforehand, so they actually had to recreate it. So like you can't get original like what the actual orchestra played.
Oh,
so you're
what?
hearing so if you're getting any copies now, it's not originally what was played for the movie because it would have accompanied like an orchestra playing it. So they just had to recreate sheet music for it.
Did they? So they just improvised?
Yeah, well, they had sheet music, some of the sheet music.
Oh, only some of it.
Yeah, only some of it. So
Well,
some of it
shit.
did not survive because Brandon Stoker is the author of Dracula?
Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker, excuse me. Bram Stoker ordered the film destroyed when it was made because it went against English copyright laws and whatnot as well during the time. So yeah, so what you're getting, and some of it was saved though, so that's why we have recreations as well as the sheet music being destroyed. Probably part of that as well.
We should probably just dive into Nosferatu if we're gonna.
Yeah, if
just
we're gonna
go in
start
there.
doing
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
I think so.
I agree with John that it is a very big German expressionist film, but it also paved the way for a lot of Gothic expression within the 1920s.
Right. And if you're not familiar with German Expressionism or what like Gothic would even mean at that point, it's essentially referring to the way that the lighting looks in the film itself, to how the characters are lit, how they're going to present themselves on stage.
Excuse me, John. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the amount of eyeliner in this movie that all of the characters have. That's
All
really
the
the
face
Gothic.
makeup?
That's actually the Gothic expressionism.
Totally.
You know what I did? I did like, and I'm not sure if this is in the original one, but in the original movie, but in the one that I saw, they have blue lighting, like a blue-white contrast for a daytime or for nighttime. Excuse me, for nighttime scenes. So scenes at night are kind of have like a blue hue to them.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. And then during like the early mornings, they have it orange, and then during like normal daytime, it's just black and white. Very normal.
Yeah, so that they did that originally. I'm not sure who the director was for Nosferatu, but I do remember reading that his inspiration was from the old film The Doctor of Caligari, and they do the same thing with the blue filter and the orange filter depicting daylight and nighttime.
I really like that with the movie though, because when I walked in to watch this movie, I watched it at home with a few friends for our Halloween night. I was not expecting any sort of coloration whatsoever. Maybe like the slight like kind of yellowish hue that those old black and whites tend to have. I noticed you can also like see a lot of the shutter parts. You can tell where they moved the camera or they were opening and closing the shutter in the movie as well, which is very funny.
They were just figuring out how to do like jump cuts and being able to just leave the camera and then change what's in front of it, turn off the camera and then turn it back on.
So yeah, no, the shutter animation, you can tell when they were just experimenting with different types of transitions, especially really quick, snappy transitions.
Well, they figured out that if you could leave the camera exactly where it is, they would bury the bottom of the tripod in the ground so that it didn't get moved from its spot. And then they would turn the camera off, put whatever it was in front of it, and then put it back on. So they that was the first beginnings of stop motion. And they would use that for like cutting people in and out, or for when people like disappeared like in a puff of smoke. That's usually what they were doing for those scenes. So they like just started finding out that they could do these editing techniques with the camera.
I thought the editing, I agree, it was like very interesting for some of the shots, like the beginning of stop motion. When you see like a carriage like running away or like driving away, it's like cut into like different sections. I'd say like 4 or 5 shots.
And it comes away really hilariously fast. Like, you expect like Looney Tunes music to be playing while they're running away from stuff.
They did that a lot with moving items or objects. They ended up like, it looks like it's sped up for a bit.
And they do that with the Wolfman too. For like the scenes where the dude transitions, it's just basically a picture of him with minimal hair, then more hair, and collectively growing.
But they're
until
just
he
cutting.
is-
They're just
yes.
cutting sections and putting them one after another.
It's
But,
it's
yeah.
really awesome. One of my favorite parts of Nosferatu was the part where they go total negative for one of the carriage scenes. It's super creepy and like super like kind of disorienting.
You mean when they like invert it everything?
Yeah. Total color invertation.
Yeah, I shit,
not a word.
that one did stand out, and that was interesting. I feel like it's something they ended up doing while they were developing the film, like in post production, because most of their effects were added on as just like filters on the film itself, like they would paint over it, and then that you didn't have to do anything else besides that. That's why you have that one hue over everything that you were looking at.
I liked what they did with vampire mythology in this one as well. They got really down to the nitty gritty with it, especially when he decides to move homes. When Nosferatu decides to move houses, they take coffins full of dirt and transfer them over because vampires are not able to travel without carrying their dirt from like their home place. It's like a really old like vampire mythological thing. Really,
I've never
old.
heard that one.
It's a really old one. Yeah.
So he has to maintain a connection to like
Yep,
his
his-
original home.
Yep, the dirt he crawled out of.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
So where he got changed? Maybe?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, because they're supposed to die first, so he probably died, was buried, and then he has to take that dirt in coffins with him, and then vampires can't actually traverse water, so he uses a boat
Right.
to do all of that and everything, and doesn't go by land because he wants to, secretly get in there. And then the allusions to the Black Plague also, as well, because it's set in the 1800s as well, this particular story.
If I'm correct, he goes inside the coffin, right? Like-
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And but he
totally.
takes other ones full of dirt. And they're specifically for like this scientist that one is exploring like the mysteries of life. And it's this really silly like mid segue point where this weird scientist gets all this dirt and he's excited about it.
I
and there's
feel like
rats
they
in
were
it.
definitely making fun of doctors at the time that like were just all kooks. They didn't really know what they were doing.
Mhm.
And it was just like making a caricature of that. So it was definitely something that I thought was funny because he just didn't look like he knew anything. He was just like guessing at most of the things that were happening around him. But either way, I liked it. I also like that the vampire is not your newer age vampire that's like really pretty and like gorgeous looking. It's like an ugly ass fucking vampire.
Oh, it's not a suave. What is that?
Right.
Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the
good at
aristocratic.
talking to people, and he's not. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not.
he's
an
not. Yeah,
aristocrat.
I mean, he kind of is. He owns like a manor and stuff like that.
He's like
but-
rich,
What's his
sort of.
name?
yeah, Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
No. The actual name of the vampire. He has a specific name.
I don't remember that. I just know they
Ooh.
just call him
I'll-
Nosferatu.
yeah, you should find it real quick.
Yeah, I'll
Maybe
find
like
it
the
real quick.
Count, they might call him that. Hutter is the name of the main character that goes to his estate.
Count
at first.
Orlok.
Orlok.
Yes,
There we go.
Orlok.
Dang,
Yeah.
what a gnarly ass name.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a good name.
The film Nosferatu is like the film itself is very critical for film analysis and film inspiration throughout the ages, but it's one of those movies where it's also the making of the film is a little bit almost as if more interesting than the film itself.
How so? Tell me.
It's just with the rights thing, with Bram Stoker, coming down on him, the director saying, you know what, fuck you, I want to make a Dracula movie. You can't have the rights to Dracula. Well, I'm going to make a movie inspired by Dracula and call it Nosferatu.
So he went over to get permission at first.
As far as potentially, or the film was already made, and then Bram Stoker said that no, like all of this needs to be destroyed because you're muddying my work with your nonsense.
I like that. I like that he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? What is
Yeah,
this?"
you
No.
can't just make a movie of my book.
no.
Stupid. Like,
This is probably a time period too where they're like, "Film isn't going to go anywhere. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
nonsense. It's all in the fiction writing.
yeah, duh.
Literature is king.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, you're muddying up my original piece. Why would you?
I feel like if you had approached, who was it, Mary Shelley, she'd be like, "Yeah, definitely make a movie. You should do that."
Maybe I've ever met Mary Shelley.
She would be like, I don't know, 200-300 years old right now.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah. I mean, she might be more open to the idea, but some of them might be more protective of their work at the time.
I think
'cause-
she wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Or I'd
But,
like to think so.
You know, you'd like to,
Just 'cause
ideally,
it's, you know,
ideally, Mary Shelley would not have
it's
a problem.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. No, ideally, she would not have a problem with it. But I really don't know, though, John. I really don't know.
That's another one we need to do as well.
I do love Mary Shelley. You mean, are you talking about the one with Robert De Niro in it?
What year did that come out?
Like the 90s?
Holy
early
shit!
90s?
I almost forgot about that.
I actually enjoyed that movie a lot.
I need to go rewatch it because I don't remember much about
He
it.
does a really good job because it's really classically, like, it really follows like that old storyline. But we should definitely read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the original one, and then come talk about it.
The fucking book is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, even this many years later, it's like really a good piece of literature that you should go through. I also really liked who was it? Who's the guy who played Dracula in later movies? Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah.
I loved his version of Dracula because he's such a an aristocrat, like prissy vampire who just occasionally eats people, and was like trying to court this girl the whole movie.
My favorite Dracula is the 91 version with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, because I have a soft spot for Winona Ryder.
I mean, don't we all have a soft spot for Winona Ryder?
Yeah, she becomes most powerful in October.
Yeah.
When all her movies play.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder wakes up from her basement and spreads her wings and flies on October 31st through the air, dropping candy on all
It's
the little
literally
children.
like her, Fairuza Balk, all the girls from Charmed.
Yeah, all of them. Yep.
What is it? Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah,
of them.
Everyone always remembers them. They'll never die
Yeah.
because
Never.
people watch so much shit from that time.
I think the best part about Nosferatu is people my age are most people my age. I'm around 22. They only know Nosferatu because he had a cameo in a SpongeBob episode.
That's right. He
The
did.
the hash slinging slasher episode. I think that was a Halloween
Man,
episode.
that makes me really mad.
Well, the thing is, like, everyone's like, "What was that?" It's just like, "Who's flickering the lights?" Nosferatu.
He's just like, oh no.
So, what scenes really stood out to you in this film that you're like, either it's impressive cinematography, or you liked the acting or whatever was going on in the scene?
For me, the atmosphere takes the cake for and anything. I mean, the atmosphere and way that they are shot. The atmosphere is what is the main character for me for this one.
Nosferatu is a funny movie. Like, watching it now and with like a group that's doing like a peanut gallery sort of thing, it's sort of a funny movie to watch. It's kind of just like a lot of the things look very silly because of the stop motion. The atmosphere and music do definitely set a mood that you cannot get away from. I was never legitimately scared during the movie though. But there are
Yeah.
like the part where he rises out of the coffin like with nothing holding him up, it seems, was very cool and it was very stop motiony, or like the doors opening on their own and stuff were pretty creepy.
It's a very impressive shot, him coming up from the coffin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is this where it looks like
He's on the ship.
yeah, and his feet are just like there, and it kind of like pivots. He comes out of the
Exactly.
coffin. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah, that's a very good scene. I liked a lot of the expression from the actors as well in this one. But since they're doing silent film, they really have to amp up like how much expression they have for certain things.
Oh, yeah.
or whether it's excitement or sadness or happiness or
Fear.
Yeah, they really have to like overdo it and whatnot.
They were basically like stage actors. Like they had to bring all of their expression into their face, into their bodies, so that you would know what the hell is going on. Especially if they couldn't speak, there was like no voice recording for any of these, and they just kind of played music over it. So it was really good in that sense. Also, I feel like I should note that it's so old at this point that it's gonna be campy to us no matter what we do to it. Like when we're watching, even if you watch it alone, you'd be like, I can't like not laugh at certain parts. But at the time when people were making this, like there's people who had never even seen a film, and so seeing something like this freaked them the fuck out. There was like one of the original things that was ever put onto film was the guy who captured a train going by, and he placed the camera kind of near the front of it as the train was coming towards it. When he first showed that in a theater, people freaked out. They thought the train was going to come out of the screen and like run them over. And so like people are just getting used to the idea that you can put images up onto the screen like that. And you have other films like A Trip to the Moon,
Yes.
which was like the weirdest surreal movie and in like impressive fucking editing techniques that they put for that.
Yeah, a lot of stop motion in that one.
Yeah, they like would do a stop motion of somebody like vanishing, and then like a puff of smoke would show up, and it looks seamless. Like you watch it now, you're like, I don't know how the fuck they did something like that. But really, all they did is turn the camera on and off, and then set up the scene that way, and it worked really well. But I have to say, for that time period, it's similar to like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is I fucking hate that movie, and like I know it's supposed to be important, like for film expression, but I had to watch that movie in one of my film classes, and it's way too fucking long.
How long is the movie?
It's like almost 3 hours.
Oh no.
And it's not even like they're not talking.
Did you ever watch Citizen Kane?
Fucking hate Citizen Kane. What it like I'm gonna go off on a tangent about Citizen
That's
Kane
fine,
for a moment.
go for it. I want to hear this.
So it's like, first of all, Citizen Kane is just about some fucking rich kid who is mad that he never got his goddamn sled when he was a kid. So he takes it out on everybody he fucking knows until he's super old and then never tells anybody. That's what Citizen Kane is about.
Isn't it like 4 hours of that?
It's so long. It's basically about this dude's life, and you get to see all the choices that he makes, and it's supposed to be about like your place in society and how you can make an effect. But like, it's just a rich dude doing fucking douche moves.
From the cradle.
And I had to watch that shit like 3 times.
Oh, you poor soul.
That's really sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's what happens when the film program doesn't have any variety.
Oof.
Ooh.
Oof. Oof. You
hot
see
takes
UCSD
here.
getting called out right now.
Now, San Diego State University.
San Diego State getting called out right now. Pardon me.
I can say shit now because I have my degree. I'm not in the classes anymore.
Mad shit.
It's chill.
We have to talk about the staircase scene with the shadows. Of course.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That-
So what happened in that scene?
It's just him walking upstairs, but it's shot with his shadow, and you could see the long nails and everything like that. It's shot wonderfully.
So this would be what you usually see in like promotional things for it, right? Where it's just his long shadow cast onto the wall as he walks up, and then like the hand going forward. It's the equivalent to the creature of the Black Lagoon reaching out of the water, and like it plays music as he does it.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right, anyway, we'll get to that later.
The thing is, Nosferatu is one of those movies that it is important for you to know as a film critic or film lover, but it is also something that is very outdated. The inspiration for it has been wide, though. The Hammer films, the Universal films of the 50s took heavy inspiration from it, and then the Hammer films that came right after the Universal ones.
What are all the Universal films?
Well, I don't know the Universal films, but like I know one of the ideas I think that was wrapped from Nosferatu is having like a really ignorant protagonist who like disregards the book that tells him everything about the vampire. He just reads it and he's like, "This is a silly book," and just throws it on the ground.
That turned into like an archetype for horror movies.
Yeah.
Where you have this person who's like a fucking idiot, or they're really smart and they don't see the obvious.
Yeah, I have to talk about Killer Clowns from Outer Space just again because I love that movie. it's the police chief. Oh, trying to make a joke out of Officer Mooney, huh? Not in my town, you little pranksters. Everyone's like, dude, people are dying. He's like,
yeah,
nope.
right. Someone got like murdered the scene before.
Like the whole town is pretty much dead, and they're like, dude, clowns. They're like, nah, you guys are dumb.
That's pretty funny.
And yeah, it is an archetype that derived from this movie. You wanted me to talk about the
Universal
films, right?
Monsters. So if you want to go check them out, I've been posting all of the Universal Monsters on the Instagram, so you actually get an image for it. But it's things like Frankenstein, Dracula, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, The Wolfman, and then God, what was the last one?
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera,
As well as did you already say The Invisible Man?
yeah.
Okay. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
And Creature from the Black Lagoon. These were all made by Universal. What are they called?
Universal Studios.
Pictures. Universal
Yeah,
Pictures.
Universal-
There's a specific name for them. Either way, it was all one company that made it.
It was Universal.
And they pretty much set the precedent for what certain types of films are going to look like. And these were pretty big budget films too. And so they became super iconic, and I wanted to put them all up during Halloween. So definitely something to check out.
Yes, the Universal Pictures Classic Monster Series.
Hell yeah.
Oh, it also has the Hunchback of Notre Dame as well.
I forgot about that one. That's actually like a really dark story. He ends up just like killing himself in the catacombs.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
oh.
Quasimodo.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, because the MCU is a thing, this is the first shared universe in the entire movie industry ever.
Yeah, they all exist in the same universe, so there's a possibility of like crossover because Universal owns the rights to everything. So I don't know if they ever did that though.
Abbott and Costello.
Oh, that's fair.
That, Abbott and Costello go see the Mummy, or they see Frankenstein
Oh,
or
and they see
Dracula,
all of them.
and it's really a peanut gallery kind of movie because they're cracking jokes while the monsters in front of them, like, oh, look at this guy, he looks like he has a bunch of toilet paper all over him. So the mummy's like, "Arr." It is fun though. But the Universal monsters, we should probably start talking about Wolfman. You think?
Yeah, this is a good time to start into the Wolfman.
Well, I will ask this: what were your impressions, thoughts, and everything you thought about Nosferatu?
I think I liked pretty much how they decided to do the lighting and how they decided to dress everybody. It was like appropriate for what kind of character he was supposed to be. And that part to me was believable. It was just what threw me out was the really expressionist movement that I felt like it should have just been a stage play. But that's just me looking back onto a really old film, and there's nothing I can really do about that. Either way, it was enjoyable, and I've seen it before. I saw it as a part of like those collections you find in Walmart that are like 100 movies in one fucking pack, and it had Nosferatu in there.
It's actually a really good bang for your buck.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Nosferatu, but I don't know if I would sit through and watch it one more time. But it's a good movie to see where horror came from as far as film is concerned. It's a really good like starter place.
Yeah.
And like John said, the lighting is really good. The makeup and design for everybody is really good. I also just like that. I really like the mythology that's used for vampires in that one because it's a lot of really old timey stuff, like just like the dirt can't cross water. The idea that he can command people through shadows and things like that as well was really interesting. So it made him almost like a actually very scary villain for the film as well, even though he's not actually as present as much, which I feel is another trope, is like not having the monster be on the screen 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of kept him sort of mysterious, and he only shows up a couple times. More so in the beginning, because like an entire break in the movie where you don't see Nosferatu doing anything, and then later on, then he comes back at the end and just like dies to his own arrogance, essentially, as he's chasing down the wife of Hutter.
Right. I do like that as well.
I will say, as a piece of cinema history, it's a great movie to watch. As a horror fan, also a lot of fun. I think my biggest take from it, or what I love about it the most, is the architecture of the German town, as well as the contrast between the lighting. Another part that I really like is it has tropes that continue within vampire lore, such as dying from sunlight. That was never a thing, but they made it a thing from this movie, and now vampires cannot touch sunlight. And so I really like
it. It ends up being something that makes sense, though. Like,
yeah.
I could see that happening where it's like, yeah, they can't go into full sunlight.
I want to say one other thing, a weird, like, what is like an Easter egg out in the world of Nosferatu is there's a magic card called Angry Mob that is literally a shot from Nosferatu's Angry Mob scene where they're running down like the alleyway and there's the houses on either side and they're just kind of off to the lower left-hand corner. There's a card called Angry Mob that has that as the picture on it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's super funny. It's just told directly from it. It's like basically a painting that's just exactly from Nosferatu, but that's just a silly Easter egg.
I think another big thing that I like about the movie is the daylight and nighttime differences in the color.
Yeah.
Just the filter, it makes you feel like you're watching something very old.
It's such an easy way to do it, too. Like, you don't have to worry about adding in effects.
Yeah. And it's just a good movie for cinema buffs. So I think we're going to probably just transition now into the Wolfman.
Well, one other thing I did want to mention was this idea that they are now creating rules for what you're going to see in film, and especially in horror film, because horror films are all about the rules. Especially when it came to the 80s and they started making slasher films, and whatever you saw on screen, there were certain things that would happen, right? Like if you saw somebody having sex, they're probably gonna die like within the next few scenes, because that just doesn't happen in the 80s slasher films. So this is like what came before it. They started creating these creatures, then there was like certain ways that you could beat it. And so they did this so that your protagonist could find ways to escape. And then you also, as you learned these rules, you'd watch other films and start applying those and be like, okay, like you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen.
Ooh.
What did you guys think about the Wolfman?
I like Lon Chaney Jr. as an actor. I did not like the script for this movie, though.
Nope.
What about the script was throwing you off?
I have to say the characters, the clothing, the setting, and the pieces for the forest and the occult that surround it are done very well. My only problem with the script itself is that we really don't go anywhere with it. It's just a man who, gets a manor in his name, gets bitten by a werewolf. Everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, and then he dies.
Nosferatu even mentions the werewolf in the forest, and they use a hyena for it. That was something really funny, but to be honest, I fell asleep during Wolfman because I was not engrossed in this movie at all. I was kind of like, I saw the Wolfman part, and that's the last thing that I remember is where he's running around and he kills a guy in the middle of the woods. And I just didn't really connect with any. I didn't really like the characters all that much. I mean, I just wasn't that impressed with it, but I'm sure you'll all have something more to say about Wolfman. And when I liked Creature of the Black Lagoon like 10,000 times more.
That one's probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
From the ones we've chosen here. The Wolfman was well made as far as like the production goes.
Yes.
So the money they put into the sets, to the costuming, to what they were doing there, I think maybe they may have had a problem with the writers and the director maybe. I haven't looked into it too much, but it does seem like maybe they were not agreeing on things. And so they didn't put all their money into something like that. So I agree the script was kind of weak. Yeah. And
compared to the Creature of the Black Lagoon, it's like
that's a full-fledged story, like from beginning to end.
Yeah,
like they really thought that out.
Actual character conflict and like growth and whatnot. And then in the Wolfman, it's just like guy gets manor, guy gets bit by dog, beats dog to death with stick, turns into Wolfman, kills people. And then
people
kill
him.
Wolfman.
Yeah,
right. That's it. There you go.
And the ending begs for more because it's a really funny ending. When I saw it the first time, I saw it with your roommate Nate, and we were just like, "Oh, that's how they're gonna finish the movie." All right.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do something like that, because they even remade this movie much later with Benicio del Toro.
Oh,
he was the Wolfman. Well, technically speaking, Anthony Hopkins' character, his dad, is the Wolfman, and then his son figures out that he could transform as well, and then the story goes from there. And I like that one, but people fucking shit on that movie. They did not like that. It's like how they didn't like the new Van Helsing.
I have a soft spot for that one.
The one with God, what's his name?
Hugh Jackman,
and then what's the girl's name?
Oh, I have no idea.
I can't remember her fucking name. Anyway, that I do too. I have a soft spot for that movie because it's like really campy, but enjoyable all the way through because it's so weird.
One of my favorite depictions of Frankenstein in any universe.
He's like super smart.
Yeah, and you actually feel really bad for him when they're burning down his what is it, a windmill?
Yeah, he lives in a windmill, and that's the classic mob scene where they show up. I like that movie because it was in black and white for that part, and then it goes into full color when it goes to Van Helsing.
Why do I think of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen when I think of Van Helsing?
Because it's the same like lighting style and tone.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, never mind. But that
also,
one, yeah.
It may have been around the same time period.
Yeah, I think they did come around around the same time period.
No, well, Van Helsing's probably a little bit before that.
Okay.
A little bit before when the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is, because the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is like early 1900s.
Oh.
So it's like turn of the century kind of stuff.
Okay, I don't know why I don't know why I had to bring that up. I just had to bring that up.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I
and
agree.
No one liked it.
Yeah, Murr didn't like it.
I'm giving you a grimace face. I like the concepts. I don't like how it was executed.
What did you not like about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? I'm sorry, we're going off.
Sorry, it's just a little bit of everything. I like the concepts. That's the problem that I have with a good amount of movies. They have good setup. They have good production, good characters. The script is just it gets ruined. I'm not gonna go into specifics.
Movies do live and die by the script a lot of the time.
Blasphemy. No, I'm just kidding.
I do like the concepts though. I mean, like, what is it? You have who's the Captain Nemo, right?
So yeah, I loved Captain Nemo
Yeah,
in that
as
movie.
well.
He's badass. Has a fucking sword, crazy beard, fucking prays to Shiva, was it? And then like just captaining a fucking submarine that's just super high tech. I loved everything about that.
I will say the Venture Bros, they had a really good depiction of the League of Extraordinary Men in their episode.
Dude, I forgot about that. You're right. That is a good depiction of that, honestly.
Yeah, they do it well.
You know what? For the movie, I liked Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
I liked the vampire girl. I hated the American cowboy. I loved Sean Connery as like this old British man who's really good with the rifle. And then Dorian Gray was really annoying.
Wait,
I liked Jekyll and Hyde. They were kind of
Yeah.
cool. It's kind of like Incredible Hulk situation.
Dude, that
with
was
them.
funny. It was
but I
like they
liked
just
it.
put a suit on him.
Yeah.
There was no special effects for that, besides maybe like when he was transforming.
wait, am I correct? This is the movie with like the giant black orb, right? No, wait, that was the depiction of the League.
No,
of
yeah, I was
Extraordinary
like, I
Men.
think you're
That's
mixing
in
them
the,
together.
That's in the Venture Bros thing.
No,
Never mind.
there's some pretty there's like a lot of quippy lines in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and it's just enjoyable that way. Otherwise, like everything is so rushed when you're watching that movie.
That's one of my gripes with it. It feels like a very hey, let's go.
They knew they weren't gonna get another chance, so they were like, we're gonna fit in as much shit in this movie as possible, which is probably why it didn't end well.
Back to the Wolf Man.
Yeah.
I have to say the actor portrayal for Lon Chaney Jr.'s character is a little creepy in the beginning of the movie.
Definitely.
He is like he's using a telescope to like stalk a woman and then pretend to be a psychic.
Yeah. And no wonder he turns into a dog because he is a dog.
Like
Damn.
he talks
Not
about
a cool dog.
oh yeah, do you have a certain like band that has a moon on it? No, we don't have anything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what about the ones in your room? And she's like, how do you know that? Oh, I'm a psychic, my dear.
Right. Just totally stalking your life.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So back to Wolfman. What were some of the key points above Wolfman that made it a significant horror movie, folks? John, you got any ideas?
I think it was the transformation. This is like one of the first times you got to see somebody transform on screen, and they did it with quick cuts, like back and forth, and then every time they went back to him, it was like they added more fur, a different kind of like piece on him, things like that.
The creature effects are a big part of why it's a cult film like this. I like how they are done in this section, but I also believe like it also has to do with the part of him trying to mask himself too when he comes back from the transformation. Like, oh, I don't remember last night, but I see a bunch of hair and dog footprints on my floor. Time to sweep it up and like try to make sure that no one like catches what I've done. So it's also like, I would say one of the first instances where that happens. Like something is taken over you and you're trying to mask it from the people around you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was also one of like those narratives where it's pretty much like what some horror films will fall into, where it's like you versus society. And in this case, because he was so different, he became sort of that archetype for someone who's like an outcast, but not by choice. He sort of gets like thrown into this because he gets bitten and changes suddenly. He doesn't fully understand all of the changes that are happening.
I love that Bela Lugosi has a small but prominent role in this as Bela.
Yeah.
What is it? They call them gypsies. The occult-like people. They're their little brigade or cavalry. He is a fortune teller. He gives a fortune to one of the girls, and he sees that a pentagram has been into her arm, in her hand.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest thing because it's not really a pentagram. 1950s couldn't just straight up show a pentagram because it's
Right. There was
real-
rules.
Yeah, really bad occult imagery did not flow with people in the 50s at all. Like probably like what? Not until even like the 70s, like 20 years later.
It was a lot of time passing because they passed rules like in the 1930s where they couldn't do a whole list of things. Like you couldn't have cussing, you couldn't talk about sex. Like that's why there were so many innuendos and whatnot.
I remember seeing that picture you shared where it was the rules of photography. There's like 20 rules, and this dude breaks all of them in one photo.
Yeah, you couldn't have like a Tommy gun in the photo. You couldn't show someone like hurting a cop. You couldn't show a woman
Alcoholism.
You couldn't show alcoholism. You couldn't show a woman in like a really small dress. And it's literally like a girl holding a Tommy gun while standing on top of a police officer drinking and smoking. It's all
awesome.
in the one photo. And it looks fake. It looks like it was made today, but like it's just a really good captured photo. It's amazing. But that was totally against those rules that they had come up with for the film.
The same applies to film, because Universal, especially they're a big prominent company. They wanted to keep everything clean.
What a bunch of fucking prudes, though, to like restrict film like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely destroying the artist vision with what they have, but I think, for looking back through rose-tinted glasses, I think it's really funny that their pentagram is just a star within a circle.
Yeah, they didn't do anything special.
They didn't do the lines through, like how to draw the lines for it and whatnot, which I found very silly because it felt really cheesy.
Yeah.
Like they weren't being legit, probably because they couldn't be legit.
No, not at all.
Even if they wanted to, it would get canned or not even shown in theaters.
Yeah, someone would cut it off before it even like hit theaters.
You know how moms are about that.
They don't want evil.
I don't want my kids playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yo, that was funny. That whole time period where they were like, if your child plays Dungeons and Dragons, you should make sure that they don't do that.
That was a thing, and it was like the 60s, like late 60s, where that was a thing.
Yeah, Gygax had a lot of flack for it, and then so they had to tone it back. But it was the thing that sent them into success.
Yeah, people started playing it more.
They're just like, what the fuck is D&D? Dungeons and Dragons. It could send your kid to hell. What? And then every kid's like,
go to hell. Cool.
Every kid's like, Mom told me not to play this game. Time to fucking open the box.
I was just like, I still want to know what the hell is their logic with that. Like, how does this game about role
you
playing?
cast spells in it.
Demons.
There was a kid
spells.
that like killed himself or hurt himself over something that happened to one of his characters. Or
Incorrect.
People going what?
Incorrect.
I'm not saying. Well, I remember that being like one of the headlines for a newspaper.
The thing was, he was a missing kid, and they people said that he was in the sewers underneath the college playing D&D.
What the fuck?
And then someone went down there and checked it, and they're like, you know what? There was one cop. A cop was like, I'm on the case. I have a hunch that D&D is what's making this kid go crazy. So then he writes a novel about it, and he finds the kid, and the kid's fine. But because there's so much attention drawn to the kid and everything, the kid commits suicide after like a couple months.
Oh, Jesus.
So then after that, they're like, D&D makes you kill yourself, and you could summon demons and shit. And there's also the shit with the Jack Chick comic books. Do you remember those?
No, what the hell is that?
Sorry, we're off topic on the Wolfman here, but I'm just going to go on a tangent. The Jack Chick comics are those little Sunday church comics that are like really tiny, and they tell you about a certain thing that you should not be doing. They have like a different color on the strip of line, and they tell you about a certain topic, whether it be alcoholism, robbing people. There's one where it is D&D, and it's crazy because in, like you were saying, Mitch, in the actual Jack Chick comic, it depicts a woman who's very like succubus-like, gathering kids to play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's crazy because one of these girls, she has the sickest character name. Her character's name is Blackleaf. Super tight. But her assassin dies in the game, and because she was so connected into the game, she like in the comic puts a spell on her dad to not throw away her books and everything, and then afterwards she gets so crazy and fed up that she actually kills herself because her character Blackleaf died in game.
Well, shit. Fucking people are committed to that role playing.
So, and that's the thing. A lot of people, when you play D&D, you like in the back of your head, you're like, yo, I remember this is banned, and like people hated, like it was the Satanic Panic is what it's commonly referred to as.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that title. Isn't there a movie that just came out with that name?
I think so.
Yeah, like recently. It was like a straight to DVD kind of shit, but like it's still something I saw because I saw it all over the Fangoria page.
There was also a Tom Cruise movie. It was Tom Cruise's, I think, his first or second movie. And there were several novels.
Wasn't it Tom Hanks that did?
Sorry, Tom Hanks.
Tom
My
Hanks,
bad.
I think,
My
was
bad.
in
Not
that
Tom
movie.
Cruise. Wrong
Where he
Tom.
plays D&D and it causes
Yeah.
problems.
I was like, did you mean Interview with a Vampire? No.
Sorry, Tom Hanks. He he plays the kid that was lost in the tunnels.
Oh, that's so funny.
So like at the end, like he's almost gonna kill himself because his character as well died in game. So, and his friend's like, no, don't jump off the bridge. You got so much to live for. And he's like, you're right.
I like that he's like, yeah, you're totally right.
But yeah, the Wolfman I love because the thing is there is a little bit of a cult thing with the shamans and the gypsies as they're called. It's a little bit of an old word to use now.
Well, someone else told me that it's considered to be like close to a slur.
It is very much. That's why I'm kind of like.
Well, I think you just say Romani, because that was most of people.
Say what word?
Romani.
Romani. Yeah, I could call him Romani. That's fine.
Because it's like the area and the place they're from. Because gypsy came out of the idea that like they were sort of like gypping people. And then it just extended out into a non-creative word that people were using.
So the Romani people in this, they come to town, and people are like super excited. They're getting their fortunes told and stuff. And the main girl, her best friend, gets her fortune told. And he's like, the left hand is your past, the right hand is your future. And then in her palm of the hand is the fake pentagram. They like stalked over it. And then the dude just backs up and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then she's like, what? And he's like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Please leave. And she leaves and runs into the forest. She's like panicking. And then a dog comes up and bites her and she screams.
What the fuck?
Do you remember that?
I'm like trying to like that part does not come out. And I was like, did I just fucking not watch that part?
Well, it happens really quick. And what is his name? Lon Chaney Jr. comes to the rescue with his newly bought wolf cane that also has a pentagram on it.
Right? They just wanted to put that shit on everything.
And he sees that she's getting bit by a dog. So he comes over. He as well gets bit on the chest, which is very important to note. And he kills the dog. And then it turns out that the dog turns back into Bela, or Bela Lugosi's character. And he is dead. Bludgeoned, and people are like, how did he die? Well, he has a bunch of head marks, little indents in his head, so he must have been clubbed to death. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up, Larry? Is his name Larry? I think his name's Larry.
Yes, Larry. Yeah, the main character's name is Larry. I do remember that.
Yeah.
The Wolfman character.
So that ensues. They find out that the girl is dead as well, but it's important to note that Larry has been bitten. So the next night he goes back and he gets some rest, and he comes to it again, and he wakes up. His wound is completely healed, and he is astonished. And everyone's like, you were there, what did you see and stuff? He's like, I was bit yesterday and now I'm miraculously healed. Everyone's kind of just confused, like what the hell's going on? But they're like, well, there must be an animal out there that's doing some shit. So it continues. He's trying to flirt with the girl. And do you guys remember anything else?
No, honestly, I was not super into it.
That's the thing. This script is not that great.
Yeah,
but
I think that the premise, I think like what you said about
transformation.
Yeah, I mean, I rather like this, like the ideas they had for it, which is which ends really well with like the father having to kill his own son. The sort of idea is really good, but they just did not execute it as well or build up to it very well. So it was kind of flatline like for a majority of the movie.
That's the thing. Point. It's the main character. I mean, the main characters are kind of meh in this one, but I will say that the forest itself is a good character and a great setting because it is fogged up. The trees are hanging. They're really nice and eerie.
Oh yeah, it's a nice set.
Yeah, the set for it is definitely good. Is a good set.
And like John said, the transformation scene is probably the big money maker for this. The hair looks really good.
Yeah, they must have spent a lot of time on the costuming and all the special effects for that. Like, especially during that time period, that must have been a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
to get all of that done without all of the extra cash for it. But they probably had a bigger budget for something like this. For all the Universal monsters, I feel like they definitely had more money for something like that. But
I'll probably just like go over a little bit more, and then just they try to find a beast. They can't find it. Dude transforms again, kills more people. They know something's up. They eventually the guy gets fed up with living this life that he is a monster and killing people, and no one is believing him that he's telling him like, oh hey, I'm a werewolf. I was bitten by a werewolf. Even his dad's like, no, you are my son. You own this manor. Here, let's sit you down in this chair. I'm going to lock you up. We're going to go find the beast.
Well, I think he's like mentally ill.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, there's something wrong. And so they try to.
His mind is tainted.
Yeah, they try to like sedate him and like relax him and stuff. It was like it's really telling of that time period too, because they did this with like women all the time, where they were like, oh, you're crazy, like you're having some mental lapse in what you're talking about, so just do some drugs and relax.
Yeah.
And they would give them like opiates and things like that, which is how they got into the whole like opioid addiction and shit.
Yeah.
There's so much weird shit that happened outside of the film that influenced a lot of what happened inside of the films. And in those cases, because women didn't have a whole lot of rights, they on screen were portrayed in certain ways, which was for the next like 50, 60 years until there was something even slightly different.
I agree. Like there are a lot of things that are, you know, in the background of what it is trying to symbolize, for sure, in this movie. Then what happens? I'm trying to go over the key points, but it's just like this script is kind of flat, you know.
No, it's all right.
I think oh yes, the scene with the dad. You know, he finds the wolf man after getting caught in a trap, and he beats him with a cane, and then it turns into his son, and he doesn't say anything. It's like the weirdest thing. He just like just kind of looks at it like, oh,
I guess I murdered my son.
And then
Oopsies.
you get all these like farmers and people. They're like, it's Larry. Oh, I guess I guess Larry must have died trying to fight the beast, I guess.
Do you feel like it would have been better if he had the very dramatic response where he's like screaming, no?
Honestly, I would have thought it would have been a little bit better. Like, I just killed my son. He was telling me the truth. Like, fuck. And then, ends off like that. But it ends off kind of just like, oh, that's my son. The end.
Right. Roll credits.
Welp, ain't that a coinky dink? It's just like the dad just kind of very nonchalant about it.
That just makes me think of like the Looney Tunes wrap up. Where they just like cut to black, or like it would like shrink into like a circle.
Well, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Probably not one of the strongest Universal monster movies.
No, I'm sorry. I got the fucking frog stuck in my head.
The frog?
You know the dancing frog from Warner Bros?
Oh, yeah.
Comes out the box.
Yeah.
He's just, you know what I'm talking about? He's like, hello, my darling.
Oh, honey.
Sorry,
Oh
that
my
was so
gosh.
random.
Jesus.
So let's talk about Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
Because we got to see this in theaters in a very comfy seat.
Yes.
Those seats were so comfy.
Yeah, they were them Sinopolis chairs, though.
I will say, watching this in the theater was such a spectacular move.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had seen it maybe like once or twice before, just randomly because I found the DVD. And I loved watching it, but I was like, this probably would have been really cool in theater. So to go, it didn't seem old to me. And I don't know what it was about it. Maybe they had like a really nice quality. But watching it, I was like, this could have been made like a couple years ago.
Could have made maybe like 70s.
Yeah, like it doesn't seem that old to me. Also, they did a really good job with their filming techniques.
Yeah, the filming techniques are really good. I love the set pieces, like the going down the river with the giant boat.
Dude, I couldn't tell if this was like a river they built in a studio or if they actually went somewhere.
Yeah,
for
right.
this shit.
It didn't seem like it was the like where I don't know what the classic technique's called where they put like the moving screen behind the boat.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell. Like there were some scenes that you could tell, and then there were others where I was like, no, they're just in a boat in the water for sure.
Yeah.
I liked they did the good job of like obscuring the monster as well.
Yeah,
similar
right
to
from the
how-
beginning.
Yeah, very Jaws-esque sort of deal.
I think I liked also that their plot line made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So,
everyone's
like-
motives were correct in their own vein.
They show up and they're like, yo, I discovered something. Well, it starts with him discovering like the hand coming
Mhm.
out of there. So to me, that's like, oh, there was more than one of these creatures. and then that one's like just happens to be buried in the stone.
Like it's like the idea that when man evolved, he at one point walked was aqueous at one point, and then came upon land. He was amphibious, and so that there was that hybrid between fish and man, as opposed to the hybrid between man and fish, or man and ape.
They referenced the lungfish quite a bit as being the key point in the difference between water and land, because it could go on both. And I like how they also reference the Davidian age or something like that. Devonian age.
Devonian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love the fact that it's archaeologists digging up and finding remains. That's like one of my favorite parts about a lot of horror movies.
Well, the science in it was like, it was pretty good. There wasn't really anything where I was like, that sounds outrageous.
Yeah, no, it was.
I'm not sure about that.
It was pretty grounded, for sure.
And they somehow managed to make the scenes in the water like really mysterious and also creepy, because it's daylight, but it's a black and white film. Mm-hmm. So they had to get the lighting just right in the water and film underwater. So it's like, how do you film underwater in the 50s? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I had to look up like what style of camera you would have for that, and like the amount that they spent to get a camera like that, it could pay for like another movie.
Wow.
So they had enough money during that time to get the camera. It's basically like a camera encased in like a watertight casing, and then it just has a really clear window that it looks out of, and so that's how they film those.
I would say the underwater scenes are shot wonderfully.
They look so nice,
so beautiful, and they had 2 actors to portray the creature.
I figured.
Yeah, because they have a dude who swims magnificently and elegantly throughout the water.
They must have given him some direction while he was in the water, like, hey, we need this to look a certain way, so
yeah,
go and swim this way. They probably made him swim a whole bunch of times and redo it.
You know what's crazy? He didn't have a suit. It's all him holding his breath.
Yeah, free diving
for minutes at a time, 5 minutes, 6 minutes at a time, and it looks great. You guys want to dive into the plot? Oh God,
yeah,
pun intended.
So, archaeologist finds a hand poking out of a rock and is like, "Where's the rest of the body?" Oh, well, maybe it's gone like somewhere downriver, but we need money for an expedition. So he leaves his 2 helpers there. And I say helpers because it was totally racist and had people from like, I don't know, they were like natives, I guess.
I mean, they were basically just people that live in the Amazon that he meets up with that are also working on the dig with him.
Yep.
Yeah. That was basically it. They just are his like confidants.
Your general labor.
Yeah, exactly. Your general person of color who is also a laborer.
Yeah.
And so they left. He leaves 2 people there, goes to meet another archaeologist?
A science institute, and our main character David, as well as his love interest.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it was, so he's like, all right, you found something cool. Let's go talk to all these dudes. And they're all archaeologists, scientists who want to discover more. And they actually debate, like, is it worth it to go and look for something like this? Like, should I fund it? And everyone seemed pretty spot on. And it wasn't like where you have those movies where everything just works out right and like no one questions them. There was definitely a guy who was like, I don't know, is this like worth the money? Like, why are we gonna go do this?
Should we do this expedition at all? Will it make us profit?
He pulls out the hand and they take a look at it and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is gonna be worth the money.
Yeah, they basically found out that it's dated to the Devonian area, and they say, this is a really good find. We should dig around in that Black Lagoon and find out, like, maybe if there's more of more fossils we can find of this, because this is the discovery of the century,
yeah, et
cetera, et cetera. And that's when, like, they have a whole bunch of shots of, like, the hand coming out of the water to grab someone, but then they turn around and it disappears back under the water again.
We have to talk about the 3 notes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is used...
I think this is like one of the first uses of music to cue a monster.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't think the Wolfman didn't really do that.
No.
Every time he was on screen, I don't think that it really did that. Like, there was no real like consistent note with Nosferatu either. It was very different depending on scene. But with this one, it was the same 3 notes every single time the monster was coming.
Yeah, no different. Always the same.
Whenever the creature is coming at them.
And the thing is, when he has his hand and you're like, oh, it's about to get someone, But then he's like, oh wait, I should probably hide. I don't want to find it. The
Right.
notes deflate.
Yeah, pulls his
Yeah.
hand away.
Like almost like it's disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, darn it, no one gets killed today.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think of? There was a video of a dude who's like sticking his foot off the bed, and then there's a hand reaching up to grab it, but then he pulls his foot back, and the hand is like moving around like, what the hell? And so he keeps doing that, putting his foot in and out, and the hand keeps going up, and then eventually he grabs it, and the guy fucking flips out because he gets dragged off the bed.
Damn.
But it's like they like dramatize the hand reaching out, and again, like you read articles and stuff about this movie, people were terrified when this movie came out. They were like, they'd never seen anything like it. I do have to say the costume's pretty freaky.
Yeah, it is a great design. I wanted to talk about a little bit about the time era for this.
Yeah,
if
for
I
sure.
could.
Go for it.
So the thing is, with a lot of horror movies during the 20s, 30s, 50s, and 40s, they all dwell on some different topics.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the 50s, or like mid 50s, I'd say. So it's like right around the time that World War II, we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. And
Yep.
that's the thing. People are not afraid of the monster. They're afraid of what man could make. And so it started a whole new genre called science fiction horror. And that is, this is one of the big key like holders, like torch passers for that. It was, is this a real creature or was this man-made? You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like with Godzilla in 1954, and
Then there's like invasion of the body snatchers.
yes,
There's War
and
of the Worlds.
Fiend Without a Face, all kinds of just science fiction horror was a new thing for a lot of people. And it's not only what's out there in the world, but also what's in our deepest depths, which was a big thing about this movie.
What haven't we discovered yet?
Yeah.
Like in the movie, they mention how we know more about the space than we do our own.
Yeah,
like
our own oceans.
Yeah,
Oh, you want to go
Yeah.
watch something? Go watch The Abyss.
yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah. I
That
remember
movie
seeing
will
it.
fuck you up.
is that a movie about the deep?
Yeah, it's about
Oh.
that's about the deep ocean.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, science fiction, really good horror thriller movie.
Ooh. Yeah,
I won't tell you anything about it because
Just watch it.
Just go watch
I
it.
will say that was one of my favorite lines in the movie. We know more about space than we do in our own, swimming pool.
It's still
Mhm.
true.
It is.
Yeah, we
We're-
still haven't really looked into the oceans, which
We're
is
barely
terrifying.
making discoveries every 5 or 10 years about a new species.
It's
It's very
like-
rare.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, dude, I straight up have that like fear of the open ocean. I think I've said it before. Yeah, that shit freaks me the fuck out.
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
vast.
Like I could not be out in open water. I'd probably flip out.
Sorry for that yawn, folks. It's huge. It's vast. The ocean. So many possibilities lurking in the depths.
Just looking at
Possibilities.
pictures of large spaces freaks me out. Like if I look at like space, like you go to NASA or something and look at their shit, that stuff makes me nervous. It's so
Fuck.
weird. It's such a weird feeling. Yeah. It's like what's that other one where you don't like porous things, like things that have holes in it. It like freaks you out. I can't think.
Oh, there's a specific phobia, but
it's
don't know.
it's tryptophobia.
yeah,
That's
I know quite a bit of people with that.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But I digress. Things that make you afraid.
So the leads are Richard Carlson and Julie
Yeah.
Adams,
Okay.
as well as their antagonist Richard Denning, who plays Mark.
So I didn't understand. I think I had trouble understanding the relationship between the two main characters, the two men, who like at times seemed like they were competing against each other, but then other times were like really caring about the other person, while also one of them had a romance with his lady friend that he brought with him, who is a scientist as well, right?
Yeah, she is. She's one of the newer students that has become part of.
Oh,
our group.
gotcha. Okay.
So the thing is, like, don't forget, like, how you barely came onto the program.
Yeah.
We're still, trying to learn some stuff. But the thing is, Mark was the one who gave her that position. So I feel like there's a big thing of jealousy there because she didn't know David before then.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like, kind of just like, oh, I wanted my trophy and you're taking it. So I feel like Mark has a lot of things that he's dealing with as he's watching David just put his little loving hands all over her,
They're definitely like openly romantic in front of everybody, but
Yeah.
like there was never like an excessive like kissing scene. or like they weren't having sex. It was
Yeah,
just like
it was just like a budding romance. More
Yeah.
like on this science expedition, it's more of a budding romance.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
on its way there.
It's actually really beautiful because it's just
Yeah.
like, hey, we're on this expedition together. I'm gonna give you a little hug. I'm gonna go in the water, kiss on the lips. Like it's actually like really tame. You know, it
Yeah,
doesn't go
yeah.
overboard with
which
it,
is fine. You know,
which is
I-
respectable for scientists.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like the dichotomy of the scientist that wants to discover things, and then there's a scientist that wants to bring it back and is like the, you know, you got like your Massifades Paragon and your Renegade options. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want to make sure everyone gets out alive. Damn the project. I
Yeah.
want to make sure this monster dies. Damn the people. Sort of idea. And I liked that not really a juxtaposition, but a dichotomy.
well, it made
I
for a
think.
lot of conflict while you were watching it on what they were gonna do next.
Yeah.
I feel like they stayed out there too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they definitely went past like when they should have head back, but that was because of one of the scientists being like, "No, we have to we can't go back empty-handed." Like after
Which-
everything that's happened.
I could see his point of view. Like he has spent a couple not million, probably thousands, several
he spent
thousand,
a good amount of money.
probably several thousand to do this expedition, and he's coming back empty-handed. For a guy that's on
Yeah.
a science research thing, that's the worst thing that could happen.
What's hilarious to me is that they actually caught the creature, and then he fucking breaks out
Yeah.
and lights a dude on fire.
I will say one of my favorite characters is the boat owner Lucas.
That dude's
He
great.
Is awesome in every scene he is in.
He's like the fucking boat captain in Jaws.
Yeah, he really is. He's
is
like
like-
super laid back, just like, oh yes, I know this place. Yeah, the legends say this, but I don't really know if it's true or not. He's a great loving character. My
Yeah.
favorite part of his arc is when the guy is like, you're gonna. David is like, hey, we need to get the fuck out of here. He's like, you got it, we're out of here. And the guy's like, hey, put that fucking anchor down. You know, we're not leaving anywhere. And he just pulls out a knife. He's like, oh, we're not going anywhere, huh? You're gonna tell me what we're gonna do with my boat, right?
This is pretty great. I like that scene a lot.
Yeah,
too.
it's true. He stands up to him, and he's not like a pushover.
Very
It's
much
like
the
always-
hardened captain who
Yes.
is not going to take your shit because it's his boat and it's his world now, sort of idea.
He smokes them big cigars.
Yeah,
too.
the big cigars all the time.
Just munching on it.
Yeah, and he's also very jolly most of the time too. Just
Yeah.
a very jolly individual.
I thought for a moment that he was like drunk most of the time, but I
Mhm.
don't think I ever saw him drinking anything.
No, I don't think so.
No, he probably did the
So
off screen.
they go to the dig site. They find
Right.
nothing. They realize they could find more stuff if they go downstream to the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
So they commissioned
Did they
Lucas.
ever explain why the water was that color?
No, it just is. It's just called the Black Lagoon. It just has murky. It's just murky.
Oh,
They call it the
gotcha.
Black Lagoon because people that go there don't come back.
You got some real footage of crocodiles though.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's true. Shit, I wonder how they did that. Did they just dump them in a tank? They're like, all right.
Dude, I crocodiles and I have the biggest fear of that.
What, getting eaten alive? by
Crocodiles are my
crocodiles?
favorite animal, but the thing
Oh.
is, I love swimming, and if I were to ever swim with one, it would kill swimming for me.
Well, they will bite you and then just twist, like fucking
Death
do
roll.
a crazy turn. Oh, is that what it's called?
It's called
Yeah,
the Death
death roll.
Roll. Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know
Where
that.
they grab you, they don't let go, and then they like turn themselves over and flip you around in the water and suffocate you and crush you at the same time. It's
The
pretty
only
great.
thing that you have in defense of that is poking the eyes or nose,
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah, and that's if they decide to let
They
you
have
go. 'cause-
they have a bunch of jaw force biting down, but not up. So if you could somehow have them close their mouth and then get over it and hold their mouth tight, they can't open it.
Oh, no wonder that works so well.
Yeah, they have like thousands of psi on the munch,
Yeah.
but not on the open.
That's weird. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense because I would see people just jump on him all the time and like hold the mouth closed. I was like, how is that happening? And then that explains it, actually. There's some science behind it.
Yep. But-
So they go to the Black Lagoon, and this is like one of the instances where I think the first time we see the creature, it goes up on their boat, I believe.
No, it's swimming in the water, watching the girl.
Oh, that's right. And they have
Yep.
this really great shot where she decides to swim, and it just kind of swims underneath her and doesn't do anything. and just
Yeah,
kind
he
of
gets
follows her around all
really
creepy
close.
like. Yeah.
I like that because in your mind you're thinking, oh, he's just gonna grab her and take her to his lair, and everyone's gonna be like, "Where's the girl? We gotta find her." And it doesn't do that. It plays with your expectations a little.
Yeah.
Well, I was still like, what was the creature's obsession with the girl?
That's an interesting bit. They don't ever explain that.
They never explain
He just
it.
kind of does.
He just only really likes the girl and is really hostile towards anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, how can he even tell?
No, like I guess kind of like maybe the King Kong sort of idea, where it like steals the like it was the maiden that slew the beast sort of idea.
That was so weird.
Yeah, it's so strange. Like having like the idea of like a beast being obsessed with. I guess it's not really that weird considering like humans. So like, and just like this like I guess it's more or less an idea rather than like or a concept rather.
Yeah.
Of maybe he's just a lonely fish man who just really wants a mate, and he just sees this woman who, I don't know, I have no idea. I'm trying to logicalize this, and I don't know, I don't understand.
I wonder
it.
if this is what is that movie called? The new Guillermo del Toro movie, The Shape of Water.
Oh yeah,
It's like the Shape of Water deal. Like he's got
Yeah.
a penis that just like retracts in and out.
Yeah, I mean, is she? Is it just the opposite of that? It's like, oh yeah, we really like with Shape of Water. This is where we really wanted to take the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but like have the romance happen that we saw in that one scene.
Man, he just wanted to make a fish dick. Like he needs to
That was
stop
it.
lying. And you know, like
I
he had
wish-
an explanation for it.
I really don't know what it is. Maybe I really don't know what it is. But the creature seems to have just a fascination with her, and like goes and kills every other one. So maybe it's some sort of like special like supremacy thing where he's trying to like kill all of the supposed people that could get with his potential mate sort of idea.
I think that's what it is. In all
Yeah,
honesty,
he just because he only kills male characters pretty much, and then tries to steal women basically.
My question to you: do you think that The Shape of Water is somewhat the only remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon we have?
I don't know if it's a remake, but
Well,
it's
not
like
remake, but like in the
it's
same vein.
Yeah, definitely.
It's in a similar vein, but I actually really want a remake of Creature from the
I
Black
do
Lagoon.
too, actually.
I actually think it could be done really well. I think.
It can.
But yeah, so he has the obsession with this girl. He follows her around. I think he grabs her leg and she freaks out, and then
Yeah.
he swims away.
The guys come out after reviewing their rock samples from the area. They were like, "Oh yes, we can find the ancestor of the hand that you found. It probably
Yeah,
did come down.
Probably a fossil or something along
Yes.
those lines. They expect it just to be extinct and gone.
Yeah. So then they're like, "Oh my gosh, get over here, move the boat, get it closer, get her inside," and they do. And she was just like, "Oh yeah, it was just a swim, nothing crazy."
Yeah, something grabbed my leg though, and then I think at some point I think they go down to like start swimming around looking for it.
Yeah.
With the tanks and everything. Then they run into the creature because it attacks one of them.
And that's when they start going in with the harpoons.
I fucking love this whole scenes with the harpoons, like
Yeah.
the sound effects, the way that you got to see it just go flying. Like I don't know how they even did that. They must have really used like air pressure tanks to just launch these fucking things.
Yeah, but I mean, getting the cameras underwater, that's like a different like. I don't know how what the technology for that is like at the time, or if they just put it into like a plastic bubble and then put it
Yeah.
underneath the thing.
Oh yeah, it was like in a case that you would like screw closed.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Like they would start the film running and then they would close it, make sure it was
Had a
airtight,
cable running inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
and then they would dump it in there and then pull it out when they were all done. Like they really didn't have that much filming time with their cameras and with the film available. They could probably do like 10 minutes at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that, depending on what size film they were using. But that was usually about how much they could film, like per roll that they were using.
Something that they make a big point in this movie is the pressurization. Like holding
yeah,
it.
some more science.
Yeah. Like, oh, you didn't come up all the way. You didn't depressurize yourself. I don't care.
That's true.
We
It's
need
a
to-
real thing
we-
with scuba divers too. If you didn't.
What
know.
happens if you don't do it
You
properly?
can blow out your eardrums.
Oh God.
That like the pressure will cause ruptures and stuff. So I've done a little bit of scuba diving myself, or I've like dabbled in it a little bit. And the people that I talked to, he's one of them told me a message with his the leader for his scuba expedition went up entirely too fast, and it literally like his eardrum exploded out of the side of his head
Oh.
and whatnot, and like it's just a little pop. and then there's just blood and stuff flying, and then fish were like eating at the side of his head and stuff, and it makes him a little disoriented. It's because you have to like repressurize the pressure in your body, so you have to ascend slowly.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
They say like, oh, whatever time that he, how much time he was down there, he has to, blow out the air, or, like take his time with it. I will tell you a terrible underwater welding pressure story if you have the chance.
That's fun.
It's really quick. So there was a welder. He was welding for about maybe like an hour or two underwater, or he has air. He's doing his thing. Mm-hmm. The guy gets back into his ship and forgets to depressurize as he's coming up. This is like maybe a couple 100 feet down there. He's fixing some pipes and stuff. So he's coming back up. The dude needs to use the restroom as he gets on land. Goes on the can, does his business, breaks his legs. His legs break from like the sheer amount of force that's coming out when he's doing his waist, and breaks his legs, and he like basically dies on the toilet because of this. He's just bleeding, screaming, and like just did not pressurize correctly.
What the fuck?
Ended up dying.
Wow.
Because his lungs and everything was just all jumbled into mass.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Underwater welding, your life expectancy is 5 years. I know some people who have done it for 6 or 7, and I tell them, hey, you should probably get out of that profession.
What the fuck? Really? It's 5 years?
5 years, but you make bank.
Why 5 years?
Dude,
it's dangerous.
You're going through pressure for several hours a day. I mean, your body can't handle that.
That would freak me out. I'm freaking out just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even the worst part.
You're the only person down there. Like, there's a possibility you might fuck something up.
Let's not even talk about the pressure from like stuff that you're fixing. There's also stuff like, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic here, but say if you were fixing something that has pressure that comes through it. Say if you're fixing like a dam or something, and it has like 1,700 pounds of PSI, or say just some random obscure big number. If they turn it on while you're still down there, I mean, that's 1,700 pounds, whatever, a bunch of pressure coming back in. You're going to get stuck there. And they're not going to stop that machine. They're just
right,
like, where
exactly.
are you? Why didn't you come up? You'll run out of air while you're being sucked in. And like parts of you will probably go through that little hole that you forgot to fix. So it's like, that's not even counting the dangers of like fish or running out of oxygen or all kinds of crazy stuff in our depths. So if you know an underwater welder, tell them, hey man, you're doing good, but you should really look into a profession change.
How hot does something have to be to fucking work underwater?
Dude, that has to be at least 500, 600 degrees.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's mostly stick welding, and stick welding's hot, especially with 7018. You have to have high amperage to be able to go through that. And they're working with underwater grinders. I don't know how that works, to get rust off after years of, being in water.
All the salt water and shit.
Oh yeah, salt water fucks up welds. That's why it's a big thing in demand. But I digress.
Well, okay. So they find the creature. You don't really get a full view of it until she's swimming around, and then you're like, oh shit. But they do take a minute to show you what the creature looks like. There are moments though, I gotta say, he looks really goofy. Like he's like standing out and like outside the water on the boat. Yeah, and like it's opening its mouth and closing it.
Like a fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just made me laugh when I was watching it.
It does look silly sometimes, but I feel like this was probably my most convincing monster in of those 3 movies that we watched. It was the most convincing of the 3 of them to me. Because it even his facial, he has very little facial expression. You can clearly tell it's like a rubber mask, but they did a really good job on the rest of the body and the claws and the webbed
texture.
hands and the texture. Yeah,
Oof.
exactly. And I also did like that they did him just breathing out of water like that, and they tried to they really tried to immerse you in this monster. So they learned from their mistakes with the previous monster movies and whatnot.
They tried to kill it a couple times. They hit it with the harpoons. And then it just disappears. It goes into its lair, but they don't know that.
I like that the captain has this sort of remedy for putting shit to sleep.
I think is the drug Rufalin that they use?
It sure looks like it.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he says, local fishermen fish with this all the time.
Yeah.
They just throw it into the lakes and then boom, fish for days.
Right. So they put a whole bunch on or in the lake, and then it gets all of the fish and everything to pass out. And then I think they managed to stun the creature, which is how they're able to capture it.
Yeah, they do stun it. And
It's
it takes a while.
it's rotenone. Is
Rotenone.
the name of the drug. Yep, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yep. It's rotenone. That's just what it's called. That's what they use. The
So it's
natives use it for fishing, and they use it to like drug the fish so that they float to the surface. So it's not roofing. Excuse me. They are not roofing all of the fish
No.
in the thought. They are using rotenone.
So they actually get it and they capture it. They put it in the boat after a little bit.
Yeah, they leave some dude to keep watch who is obviously not the best person to leave.
The woman comes out. She's talking to him, having a casual conversation about this. Mark is absolutely ecstatic that they found the creature and are going to go home with it. Award-winning prize for sure in the eyes of the science field. And then the creature just gets the jump on the guy at watch.
Yeah,
He claws
for
his
real.
face really bad.
Fucking lights him on fire and shit.
Yeah, also lights him on fire. And then I love it. He does a really good dive.
It's
Oh,
a real,
yeah.
it is actually a real chemical compound. It was not fake. That is a real chemical compound, and it's used as a pesticide and other things like that. So anyway, I'm sorry. I know we're bringing us back to that, but I just did a little research real quick for y'all.
It does come back in the film. They use
Yeah.
it in a later scene.
Yeah.
So.
So.
Then Mark is absolutely pissed. So that's when the internal conflict happens between David and Mark. People are dying. People are getting killed one by one off the boat. The guy who was at watch, he is completely bandaged up in the cargo bay, just like trying to rest. And you see the hand again. And he's like, they close it and they see him, and he's still just trying to get the girl. But this is when Mark and David are fighting.
You know what? That was the only time he went for someone else.
Yeah.
Or one of the first times he went for someone else.
Yeah, I mean, he reaches through, tries to grab someone. They see the hand. They actually end up capturing him too.
Did you want to talk about the dichotomy between David and Mark?
Yeah, so it was interesting because it's a 50s movie that, whether they knew it or not, was dealing with masculinity and how it can play out in different people. And so in one case, it's very noble. He wants to take care of the girl. He wants to make sure that everyone is okay. And they're like, we can come back. Like, it's no big deal.
We'll bring... He says we'll bring more people, more men, so we could do
We're
this
not
correctly.
well prepared for this.
Yeah, we are biting off more than we could chew.
And so that to me is like a better version of how you can be like, you can still be masculine, but you can also know your limits. Whereas the other dude was like, no, we're going to fucking kill it and bring back the dead body. Like,
Damn the crew.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's just me that brings them back,
Yeah, and he jumps in by himself, so he's like definitely that hyper masculine wanting to be the alpha male.
It ends up being his end too. He ends up dying from doing that as well.
The creature blocks them into the lagoon, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, he basically beaver dams them inside, and David tries to use the winch to lift up this stuff, but the creature keeps taking it off.
Yeah. Well, he keeps taking it off, and then that's when they jump in with the harpoons and are like, all right, we got to take care of this.
Yeah.
What's the drug again?
Rotenone.
Yeah.
Rotenone.
They put the rotenone in one of the PSI tanks.
Yeah. And they combine it with water too, so they can spray it underwater.
That was
at
actually
the
a really
creature.
smart idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea to fight the monster.
Yeah.
For sure. I love that.
It's super good too because the camera captures the rotenone really well. And
white cloud.
My favorite scene is when it's just the dude just shooting it off, and like it's just great because you see this fog, and then you see the dudes and the creature just like swimming through it seamlessly as they're trying to capture one another.
I'm pretty sure they end up like hitting the creature at one point
multiple times, and it makes him like go like whoa, and he backs off and gives him time so he can secure the winch.
With both again. That stuff and with the harpoon.
Yeah, it was actually it was really a very, a really thrilling scene. A lot of tension and like anxiety in those scenes too, because you're like, please get the fucking wench going, like the thing is coming back. And like it actually was one of the times I was actually scared for the characters in the movie itself. You're actually worried for them.
Then Mark meets his maker.
Yeah.
You know,
Good.
he passes, and David's just like, I called it like literally 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. He was an idiot. Let's keep going.
I love that. He's like, I told you so. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the next
Moving
thing.
on.
Oh my gosh.
Is this when they finally move it, right? They move the winch, and they're trying to, but the guy comes back on shore and grabs the woman.
Yeah, he somehow grabs her and then like dives
and he
off.
just dips. He just has it. They come out. They're like,
Yeah.
no, he's got her, and then he just dumps into the water.
Yeah.
Like nobody's like no problem.
It
Not even an
looks
issue.
so awkward to me. It looks
Yeah.
like he didn't jump. It looks like he kind of just tipped off the edge and like brought her with him into the water. And
I'm on
so,
your boat, stealing your girl.
At least they didn't do nice. At least they didn't do like that horror movie scream from the woman when she like gets off. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I gotta say, one of my favorite parts about this, I was talking to Mitch about this, the fact that they didn't cast a woman with blonde hair but brunette hair. For the 50s, it's like it's very different.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had problems with diversity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And
you won't see too many
Most
leads that are people of color.
most
Yeah.
most 50s movies use blonde white women, and the thing is, with this being portrayed by a woman with brunette hair, I mean, not so much different. She still is a white
The
woman.
reason
but-
why they chose women with blonde hair is because they always wanted to dress them in dark colors
I see.
so that the contrast would show up on the black and white film.
That's why.
And then when they got into color film, it was more popular to have brunette hair because it works better with most costumes.
Makes sense.
Damn.
Yeah, that was
History.
that was like one of the things they. Well, I mean, they dyed their hair constantly, so like it wasn't like it was hard to change.
It is important to say that the woman in this movie, she is wearing a white bathing suit, so
Yes.
her brunette hair does contrast that.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe that was the point why they changed it in this one. She has to wear a white bathing suit.
Right. Well, I mean, like even so, like kind of like a side note, but during this time, they didn't make like the actors did not get paid like per movie. They had a contract with this company, and during that time period, they could have them do whatever they wanted. So like they could be working on 3 or 4 different films at the same time, even if they like only had like a week to do it or something. And so they would be on these contracts where they just couldn't get out of them. And it usually meant that they could change their hair. They could change like what they look like. And that was totally a part of their contract. And so that's why you had so many movies released in such a small amount of time, because the big studios were producing all these within that short amount of time, this being one of them. It was like this movie, and then I forget which other one they had a contract for, but the actors, you can see like almost the entire group in another movie.
Wow, that's a very rigorous
Damn.
schedule.
Yeah. They were worked like horses, man, really hard.
I'm glad we don't use that practice today.
Well, they eventually got to the point where they started creating workers' unions, and that helped to regulate the movie industry, and then it changed a bit. And so that's like one of the interesting bits. It was definitely tied to like the amount of hours they could make you work for how much they were paying you, because they were paying these actors fucking peanuts compared to what like the production companies were making, because there was only like 3 or 4 of them at one point. And then eventually they spread out and people started doing indie film. It got easier to film. And so before that, you kind of had to just know people who had the equipment or borrow it somehow. And then those are the people who could make film. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. It's not like now where you can just pull out your phone and film something, and you could probably make something pretty decent, on like a $0 budget.
Right. And the thing is, like, film, I'm glad that film has come a long way to a point where people with ideas can make somewhat their ideas come true. It might not be the best production, or it could be the best production. As long as people are still creating, it's like a great thing that is happening within the film industry. Creativity has thrived within the last 15 years for sure, especially with the rise of social media and all that. People have ideas and people want to share those ideas. So it's a great thing. So the creature then captures the girl and takes her to his secret underground lair.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
like a fancy cave that he like decorated a bit, you know.
Yeah.
What I love is when the friends show up and they just fucking blast him. Like they
Yeah,
shoot him like
yeah.
8 times.
Whoa! David shows up and he fights him. He fights the fish hand to hand,
Fisticuffs.
and he just like stabs the creature as well
Yeah.
to try to save our damsel in distress in this situation. And
Yo.
then the boys from the boat show up and just unload on the creature.
The fucking he still keeps going though.
Like,
yeah.
Point blank, shot in the gut like a million times.
Yeah. And then David shows his good boy colors by letting the creature escape.
But it doesn't even matter because the dude dies in the water.
Do they show him dying?
Yeah, he
Oh,
just
yeah,
falls
yeah,
to
he
the
falls
bottom
to
of
the
the
bottom
floor.
and dies. That's
It's-
right.
He's like, nah.
Let him go.
Oh, really? I took that as him surviving.
Yeah,
No,
I
he-
thought that maybe it's like left up to interpretation.
be.
He could survive because
It-
he takes a harpoon to the gut a whole bunch of times and gets shot a couple of times,
Right.
and then still walks away just fine. Like,
That's the thing. The creature from the Black Lagoon is still there, maybe. And
yeah,
Probably still thriving.
that's another big horror movie trope: is the end, or is it? Like,
Yeah.
that's a big like thing that they've done, and they did that in like a lot of those movies too. Like, the werewolf will come back.
Or
The vampire's still around, more than likely. Oh no, not really.
Dot,
Nosferatu is very end of. ...
to be continued.
Yeah,
question mark.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They did make several sequels to this one, but they don't hold up to the original, is what people have been telling me.
Really? They made sequels for this?
They made like 2.
Holy shit.
Creature of the Black
Who
Lagoon.
made it?
I believe Universal.
Oh, Sam, they're
Maybe.
trying to bank in on this and they're
I-
like, nope, not feeling it.
I think one of them is like, might be a prequel. I have no idea. I'm not very, I haven't looked into
I would
it.
love a prequel movie of Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I would love to see a bunch of them.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like a whole tribe.
That's what I'm saying. You could do a prequel movie and it would work out. As
I-
long as you did the
yeah.
practical effects for the outfits,
That's what we need
for the
still.
creatures. That's what you really need. And then just have some really good, like, theatrical contortionist people.
Revenge of the Creature was the 55 one, and then there was The Creature Walks Among Us, which was the 56 one.
Okay. Well, shit. Should go check those out.
Everyone talks about the original though. That's
Yep.
the thing. The original's the baby.
What did you guys think about him letting the creature go, though? He was like, no. Stops everyone from shooting it.
It holds true to his character, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I thought the creature was dead when he reached the floor, so I was like, there really wasn't a point when I saw that. But if the creature is still alive, then that holds true to David's character as who he is. We shouldn't be messing with this nature force for profit. We should just let
Right.
let him do his thing. We'll live our life in civilization. We'll let his
Yes.
in the Devonian age in the Black Lagoon.
I like that read of it. That makes sense. And it also, like you mentioned, ties up the sort of storyline. And it's a clean cut to the narrative.
So the second movie picks up right after the creature's shot and filled with holes.
Oh,
And they capture him and bring him back to the city.
oh,
And then he
shit.
like goes on like, and then he like gets out and goes on like a killing spree and tries to capture another lady, of course, because that's all he does is steal women.
Wait, so he's in a city?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, we might have to watch that.
Oh man, you know what this reminds me of?
Predators.
That, too. But it also reminds me of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Oh, you're so right.
just like, hey, we're
You
bringing
know what
this
sounds like a good idea? Taking a T-Rex to San Diego.
dog.
Yeah, they keep him in like an oceanarium where he's studied, and then he like takes a liking to one of the scientists that works there, and then tries to go
Oh.
after her basically, and breaks out and all of that stuff, and starts and it takes place in like a harbor sort of deal.
Why does this sound like what was that Rise of the Planet of the Apes kind of style movie where he
Pretty
like
much could be.
like
yeah.
gains sentience and it's like I can't remember
He always kind of had that obsession though.
Right.
He always kind of had that obsession with a woman in one of the movies. The creature did anyway.
Yeah, very subtly talking about how the possession is a thing for men and women, especially men wanting to possess whatever woman they're interested in. And so having someone literally do that and take it away from them was a nice statement, but I don't
Mhm.
think it was done too on purpose. It just happens
Yeah.
to be a later read of what was presented.
Yeah.
Do you have any other final thoughts about the creature from the Black Lagoon?
No.
it is a staple for science fiction horror, and I believe that we are very fortunate to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was
I will
cool.
never forget that.
Yeah, that was a definitely very awesome to see such a classic movie and very, very like old movie like that on the big screen and see it play out.
I did talk to my welding inspector today, and I told him that we saw that movie and on the big screen. And he's like, you know what? I remember when that movie came out. I was a teenager. My dad worked as a what is it when they work the film at a movie theater?
Oh, projectionist.
He was a projectionist.
That's pretty fucking
So
cool.
he was like, I watched my dad and I learned how to change the films by hand. He's like,
Yo.
so when you see original black and white movies, there will be a black circle or black dot on the right side of the screen.
Yep.
That is to let you, the projectionist, know that's when it's time to get the next reel made.
Yep.
And when we did see this movie,
Very
I did
technical stuff.
notice. I did notice that. And he's like, then there's the second one. The second one is to let you know you should get your shit together and get ready.
Yeah. Because what you're supposed to do is make it a seamless transition from one reel to the next.
Yes.
So if you don't do it right, the film will like come out and start flopping, and then you just see the light going through to the screen, and then the film just cuts off. So like you have to like basically put it onto the reel, and then it connects right into it as it rolls through.
So he told me he watched that movie and he loved it when he was a teenager. And he said, you know, I might have to take you up on that. I'll have to probably see if I could somehow see it on theater. And I was like, dude, if you can get that experience, I mean, this is probably one of the better of the Universal movies.
Oh, totally. Yeah. There's a whole bunch that they ended up making for those.
And the good part about the Universal movies is they set up for the Hammer universe as well, which came out years later, but are reincarnations of said monsters.
Yeah.
We have to also mention that local movie theaters and stuff are kind of at like a suffering point in this economy and whatnot. They're not doing very well, which is why you're getting these kind of like, I want to say like inflated prices and stuff, because they're not doing very well. Movie theaters are kind of on their way out. Everyone's digitalizing everything and watching stuff at home more often.
Yeah.
So if you want to go out, check your local theaters. Check out what they're showing, because they do specials like this. They show older movies that you might be more interested to go see on theaters that you would never see. And this is a way to support your local theaters, you know?
Local theaters do it, as well as the big budget, you know, AMC.
Yeah, just sneak
and
in
other
your own
places.
snacks.
Yeah, we don't encourage that. Wink, wink.
Don't go buy a $5 soda.
No, Mitch knows. I somehow snuck in an entire Chipotle burrito to the watching of the
Yo.
Lighthouse.
It was pretty magical. He just stuck it in his pocket and walked in there and just
Yeah,
munched
dude,
on
they
it.
don't check your shit. Like you can just carry stuff in there.
Yeah, they don't seem to.
They don't really check bags
Hey,
either.
Don't leave a mess, though.
Yeah,
Pick up your
Don't
fucking
be that
trash.
asshole.
Exactly,
There's
yeah.
trash cans outside the theater. Pick up your shit and throw it away.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's my support for you
Don't
working
leave a
at.
half-eaten bag of popcorn sitting on your
Yeah,
fucking
don't
seat.
see that fucking ugh.
I love
gross.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I have a big place in my heart for it now after watching it on the big screen. I understand why Brent Hines of Mastodon is such a big fan. They even have a song made after The Creature from the Black Lagoon called The Creature Lives.
Yeah.
And it talks about the creature from the Black Lagoon visiting a tribe and the tribe outcasting it for being different. And it's a very heartfelt tale, but if you are a fan of this series, check out that song. It's off their album The Hunter. And I have nothing more to say. I love this movie, and it's a great science fiction piece.
I saw the creature fall into the swamp from which he spawned.
Yes, that one.
Anyway, that song. Yes, I love that song.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for it too. So before I let everybody go, I just want to remind everyone that we're super easy to find on all of the streaming sites, and we're actually on 2 new ones. We're on Stitcher now, and we're on Castbox.
Oh, very
So
cool.
Stitcher, Castbox, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. Am I missing anything?
Google Play.
Yeah, Google Play
got
Google Play Music, Apple or Google Podcasts, like the same sort of thing. You just got to search for Bringing Down the Grindhouse, and you'll find us there. You can even just Google Bringing Down the Grindhouse, and it'll show you all the links for us.
Yeah.
Definitely go onto our Instagram. It's going to be at BDTGH_podcast, and you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, as well as a Facebook page. And we love getting the comments, the interactions, and even recommendations. So if you feel like contacting us, But that was pretty much everything. I hope everyone has a good night. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Mur. Good night.
Ah.
Woo.